So we'd like to write an application that inputs 10 numbers, each between 0 and 100. Then display the list of numbers without repetitions. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to start, first of all, not with 10 numbers. I'm just going to make it like with 5 or 3. And then I'm just going to read those 10 numbers and display them. Or read 3 numbers and then display them. And then I'm going to make sure that these numbers are between 0 and 100, and then display them. And then the next step is going to be try not to display the numbers that are repeated. So that's the sequence of steps that I'm trying to do. So let's get started. I'm going to just read those numbers. For that I need the scanner. I need an array. What do you want to call that array? Numbers. So numbers, I want to tell you one thing, is that when you declare an array, generally this is the syntax, right? But I can also do this. That's also fine. The brackets can be before and after, and when you specify the name. So it can be here, or here, a space before, or no space before, or space after, or no space after. It doesn't matter, it's the same. Now this being said, I'd like to read this, so I'm going to make a loop for I0 until numbers.length. What I'm going to do is, okay, please enter a number between 0 and 100. And this without going back to the line, and then the numbers I is going to be this kb.nextInt. So now I'm reading these 3 numbers and I'd like to display them. I'm just going to do this copy and paste again, and then without asking the user to give me anything, I'm just going to display and do some kind of a space. So I'm displaying on one line. Maybe I can display something like the values are, or the numbers are, and then I'm going not to go back to the line, display the numbers without going back to the line. When I'm done, I just go back to the line. So let's try that. I just declared the scanner. Okay, just can you go? I just declared the scanner to read, the array where to put the values, the loop to repeat the number of times, and then after it finishes, we're going to go just again to display them all. Let's run. So the number, first number, second number, third number, and the numbers are. Okay, what I could do, instead of doing it this way, I could just maybe take this and put it outside of the loop, so I don't have to display this many times, but I can just maybe do something like this. Please enter a number. Now I would like to enter more than one number. I can put them like this, so I can display them that way. Fine. Or please enter, now how many numbers? I can just make something, put 3, or maybe numbers.length, because now numbers.length is going to change based on how many numbers this is going to be. When it's 3, it's going to ask me please enter 3 numbers. When it's 5 or 10, please enter that number of numbers. So now this is going to give me please enter 3 numbers. Now what if I make this to be 5? Please enter 5 numbers. And what if it's 10, whatever, and then it's going to be whatever the number is. Now this is fine, it's working. I want to improve that by making sure that the numbers are between 0 and 100. Now what if, for example, if I type something like this, and this is accepted, but I don't want it to be accepted. I want it to stop and tell me there's a problem whenever the number is a problem. So what I'm going to do, different ways, basically probably a do while, right? I can have a do while and then make him repeat for something, but I'd like to show you something different. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to read the number, and then after reading that number, I just would like to ask a question and see if that number is correct or not correct. And if it's not correct, I'm going to display that it is not correct, and then make them give me another one. But how to do that is the interesting part. So what I'm going to do is this. The condition that makes the number incorrect is that this number that was given to me as stored here, if it's less than 0, or if it's greater than 100, then I'm going to say, okay, error. And I can maybe say that this number that was given to me is not valid. Something like that. So I'm just saying this is not valid. Please enter another one. Something like this. Please enter a number between 0 and 100. So I'm just trying to explain exactly what I'm expecting the user to give me. Now, what is going to happen is that if I just run this, I type this kind of number, press enter, it tells me error, this number is not valid, please enter a number between 0 and 100. But the problem is, here I did not put anything that reads the number again, which means now I now was 0, I put the value inside, this number is inside 0, and then okay, this number is a problem. I displayed this, but then I move on. I became 1, and then I move to the other index. But I don't want to move to the other index. I want to, when the user gives me another number, it should be in the place of the first number that was the problem. So what I'm going to do is this. Which means now I0, the user gives me some wrong number, I get inside, I make I become -1. When I'm done, -1 becomes 0, and then I get inside and I'm going to put the value inside the 0 again. And this way, if the user gives me some wrong number, I stored it in the place 0, and then if the wrong number is wrong, or if the number is wrong, then I'm just making this so I can cancel this plus plus, basically, because this minus minus is expecting a plus plus to happen afterwards, so I'm just canceling that plus plus, basically. This only works, this only happens when the number is not correct. And this way, if I run, I give a wrong number, press enter, this is wrong, please enter another number. If this is another wrong number, it stays the same, but if it's correct now, it moves on to the next one. And this is also correct, this is also correct. And now the numbers, as you can see, these two numbers that I entered are not there. There's maybe a way how to improve this, like in terms of please enter the numbers I can display, please enter the first number, second number, something like that. That would be much better. Number, for example, 1. What if I'd like to display number 1? I could do this, right? Not really. Because if I do this, it displays number 0, right? But I don't want to display number 0, because this is going to be, if I run this thing now, as you can see, it's going to tell me please enter number 0. Okay, and this should be println, obviously, and because I don't want to stay on the same line. Please enter 10 numbers, and then it's just going to tell me please enter 3 numbers, and the number 0, that's not what I want. I want number 1. So +1, right? I'm going to stop this and run it again. +1, is that okay? No. I need the parentheses. Or why do I need the parentheses? Isn't that optional? The question is this not going to give me the same as this?
No,
is going to be different. But I would like you to see why is it going to be different, so I'm going to run it. Now check this. 0, 1, because this is 0, so it's going to display number. Let me just bring back the output and leave it there. I would like to fix it. So it's going to display number. This is number, and then a space. That's what I'm displaying here. On the right side, I'm going to display the content of I. What's inside of I? It's 0, so I'm going to display this. Now, after that, I'm going to add to that a 1, so that's why I'm going to see 1. And then after that, I'm going to add this column and a space, and that's what I'm having, column and a space. So if I type something and press enter, now you're going to see I becomes 1. I'm displaying numbers 1, 1. And then numbers 2, 1, which is not what I want. So what I want is the number, if it's I, you add 1 to it, then you display it. So this was 0, it will become 1, then I'm going to display 1. If it was 1, it will become 2, and this is going to display 2. And yeah, I wanted to do this. So now please enter 3 numbers between 0 and 100, number 1, and then it gives me the number 1, number 2, and number 3. If it's wrong, it's going to stay and ask me, same thing, please enter number between 0 and 1, and probably I should just put println so I don't have something like that. So if the number is wrong, I'm going just to where am I? So if this is correct, that's fine. Correct, that's fine. This is not correct, it's an error. Error 33 is not valid. Please enter a number between 0 and 100. Number 3 is still the one that I'm looking for, and that's fine. The numbers are these numbers. Is that okay? So this part here is about reading. This part here is about displaying. Okay? What I'm going to do, I'm just going to put this into comments. Why? Because I'm lazy. I don't want to always run and type the numbers. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put this as a comment, and you know you can toggle the comments by these buttons here, comment and uncomment, which is going to comment the whole thing, or you can basically select them and you can just control and the dot there, or next to the shift, before the shift. So then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to do this. Int, I'm going to keep the same number so I don't have problems, is equal. I'm going to put my values myself. Why? Because instead of me typing the values every time to test and make sure it works, I'm just going to put the values, and then later on when it's working, I will remove this and make the user enter the values. And before I do that, I'm just going to, in the commented ones, I'm going to make them 10, so don't forget to bring back it, because the question says 10 numbers. So now this is going to work with 10 numbers. But for now, I would just like to put my own values. Which values? Well, I already have some values here. I'd like to use the same so I can compare the output to be the same. And it's important to have the input and output exactly the same so you can maybe check that your program is behaving the way you want it to behave. And all I need to do now is to prepare these to give me the output that I would like to, the input that I would like to have. And then if I run now, as you can see, this is going to be my array, and this is going just to display the array. The numbers are, well, basically these are the numbers. How many are they? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. All right, almost done. We read the numbers. Now we prepared something so we can just focus now on just putting the code on how to avoid displaying repeated ones, and that's what I'm going to focus on now. Here, now this thing is displaying all the time. I don't want to display all the time. I would like to ask a question before I can display. However, the first number is displayed all the time. What I'd like to do is that I display the first number, and then for the second number until the last one, before displaying I need to ask a question. That's why, actually, the question is, did I display this number before? How can I know did I display this number before? I just need to see if this number is before the position it is in. That's all I need to do. So for example, if I'm here, all I need to do, before displaying this number, I'm going to say, is this number in here? If yes, then I'm not displaying it. If no, then display. For example, if I'm here, is this number in here? Well, no, it's not, so I'm going to display it. But is this number in here? Well, yes, so I'm not going to display it. So that's what I'd like to do. But the first time, I always display. Then for every one of the others, I need to ask a question before displaying. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to display the first one, which is the numbers are, and I'm going to display numbers of 0. And basically, this is the first one. Then for the others, before displaying, I need to ask a question. And the others, the I starts from 1. Because from here, index is 1. This is 0, 1, and so on. So now if I just do something like this and run, it's basically displaying the whole thing again. But now I need to do something, because here, before displaying that, I need to ask a question. So the question, I don't know yet what is the question, but I need to ask a question. How can I ask that question? I need to see if the number that I'm looking at, this number, if it exists previously or not. Which basically is like trying to find if a number exists in just not the whole array, just this part of it. For example, if I'm here, I just would like to see if this number exists here. So what I'm going to do, I don't know what to do yet, but I'm going to do something. I'm going to say is displayed, or maybe displayed is to be displayed, to be displayed. So if this is going to be displayed, then I display it. If it's not, or if it's already displayed, something like that. If it's already, maybe already displayed. So this should be some kind of a Boolean. Well, a Boolean, what am I going to initialize it with? Well, I don't know. I'll just put false or true. I don't know. I'm just going to put any value for now. Later on, I'm going to see how this should work. Now, what I'm going to see is that, is it already displayed? If it's not already displayed, then display it. If it's already displayed, don't display it. So if this is false, already displayed, that means it was not displayed. So if it was not displayed, then I'm going to display it. If it was already displayed, I don't want to display it. So if this is true, I don't want to display, right? So that's the condition. This becomes false. Is this equal false? No, so I'm not going to display it. But if this is false, that means if it was not already displayed, then I'm going to display it. So that's what I'd like to do. Now, how to make this thing change? Well, before I can decide if it was already displayed or not, I need to check in each one of them. Let's have a look at this one, for example. What should I do to know if this was displayed or not? I need to compare this one with this one with this one, until here. Let's take this one as an example, because it was not displayed before. Now, for example, this one. In order for me to decide if this has to be displayed, I need to check it's not here equal to this one, it's not equal to this one, and it's not equal to this one. How can I do that? Well, I can check that by doing something like another for loop. I'm going to start from this one until this index of the number that I'm looking for. If I'm asking about this one, should I display it or not? So this is the I now. If my I is here, I need to start from 0 until before the I. So I'm not going to check in the whole array, just before that number. And what should happen here? I should ask a question. If what? If the numbers of I, this one, if it's equal to one of the numbers here, which is numbers j, then that means it has been already displayed. So if this is equal, that means if I find that this number here, this numbers of I, is equal to any one of the numbers of j, that means it was already displayed, and I don't need to display it again. If it was not, then I don't need to do anything, and that's it. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to assume it was not displayed, then I'm going to compare and see if it was displayed. If it was displayed, I'll make it true, and then when I'm done, I'm going to ask a question. If it was not displayed, display it again. If it was already displayed, don't do anything. Move to the next number. Let me show that it works, and then let's understand exactly how this works by putting values in the variables and following those values. Now let's try to follow the I and j. What I'm going to do, put these as I and equal to, and then I'm going to put a comment and j equal to, so I can follow these. Now the first thing is number 0. This number is going to be displayed. I just would like to take this, put it down here so we can see it actually, so we can see the numbers. Now these are the numbers. The first thing is we display numbers of 0, so we display this one. We put a space, and then we get here. We put 1 inside of I. We ask, is 1 less than number.length? This is equal to what? To 10. So we ask, is 1 less than 10? Yes. I get inside. I put this to be false. Then I get here. I put 0 in j. And then I'm comparing. Now, is numbers of I, what is I? 1. Is it equal to numbers of j? What is j? 0. So I'm asking, is this equal to this? No. So this is false. I'm not doing anything. The next thing that happens is, let me just bring back how they are. The next thing that happens is j becomes 1. Now I'm asking, is 1 less than 1? Because now it's I. Is 1 less than 1? No. Don't do anything. What's inside of already displayed? It was false. It stayed as false. So this is it false? Yes. I get inside and I'm going to display 2 and put a space. Next thing that happens is that I becomes 2 because I'm incrementing the I. Is 2 less than 10? Yes. Now I checked this one. I checked if it was not already available in the numbers before it. Now I is going to become 2, which means I'm going to look for this one now. So already displayed is going to be false again, and then I'm going to start j becomes 0, and I'm going to ask, is number of I, this one, is it equal to number of j, this one? No. Then j becomes 1. Is 1 less than 2? Yes. Is number of I, this one, is it equal to number of j? J now is 1. That means I'm comparing this one. No, it's not equal. So there's nothing to do. I did not change already displayed. It stays as false. So I'm going to display it again. So that's why I'm displaying this number. Now I'm going to move to I become 3. Basically, I become 3. Again, the same thing. When I becomes 4, I just would like you to see what happens with I becomes 4, like here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm here. Is 4 less than 10? Yes. This is false. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put 0 in j, and I'm going to ask a question. Is 0 less than 4? Yes. Number of 4, this one, is it equal to number of 0? No, they're not equal. So I'm just going to increment j now. Is 1 less than 4? Yes. Number of 4, this one, is it equal to number of 1? This one? Yes. Well, yes. Then all the displays will become true. Or should I keep asking, basically? I should, basically, once I this here, I should actually break. There's no need for me to keep going and ask. I just found that this number was already displayed. Okay, stop, just move on. stop this loop. So I get out from this loop and then get here. This is true now. Is true equal to false? No. I'm not going to display. Increment I becomes 5. So now I'm here. Is 5 less than 10? Yes. Put j back to 0 and then ask the question, is 0 less than 5? Yes, obviously. And then is number of 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this one, is it equal to number of 0? Yes. So I get inside, put this through, okay, stop the loop, and then don't display, increment the I, and that's how you can see that if the number exists, I'm not going to display it. Now let me just cancel this, remove those comments basically, and then run it again, so you can see that this is going to work if it's repeated. Is that okay? Because that's it. Now what I'm going to do, remove this, remove the comments, and then I have the exercise that reads 10 numbers that I can test if I want to. Read 10 numbers, number 1, number 2, number 3. If the numbers are wrong, they're going to get stuck to that number, and then now I'm going just to put the numbers without repetition, and let's put something that is repeated, and now these are the numbers without repetitions. What I can do, if I'd like to see them all, it will be easier for me to see them by saying the numbers without repetition are, and then I can just do the same again. The numbers are, the entered numbers are, so I can have like them all, both of them. And here I'm just going to put another for loop just so I can see them both at the same time. So this is numbers dot length, and this is just display them without numbers of I plus a space, and then go back to the line here. So just to see them all like this, I think it would be much easier for me to see that there are no repetitions. Let's just put 32 again, 52, 52, 4, and then 32, and then 4, and then 52, and then 32, and 32. So these are the whole numbers, and those without repetition are. So this is what I entered. This is without repetition.